morning, everyone. If you saw my last presentation, I talked about some salesmanship techniques, and there were two more that I'd like to share with you because, like it or not, we are all salesmen. You know, whether you're trying to convince your boss to give you a better performance appraisal than you deserve, or convince your kids to clean the dishes and put the dishes away, or convincing your neighbor to mow his lawn. There's always something that we need to do to motivate people, sell them on stuff. So I want to discuss two more techniques today. One of them is upselling. And on this area, pretend that I am a shop owner and I want to sell the most expensive wine that we have, because the more expensive the wine, the more markup there is. And let's say that you are a consumer and you're an average consumer and you're going to have somebody come over for dinner on Friday night, and you don't have any wine in the house, and you know that they love wine, and so at the last minute you stop off at my shop to buy some wine. So you come in and you see the first bottle of wine is $3.99. The next bottle of wine is $8.99. And then the next bottle of wine is $17.99. Sandy, which bottle of wine would you most likely buy?
$8.99.
And why did you pick that?
It's the middle of the road. That's out my budget.
And you know what? That is the most common response. Everybody usually picks something in the middle. It's not the cheapest, so you don't want to look cheap, and it's not the most expensive. So if you were a good proprietor, what you would do is, on the end, you would throw a much more expensive bottle of wine, $42.99 bottle of wine out there. Now all of a sudden what that does is changes your perspective. Now all of a sudden that $17.99 bottle of wine doesn't look that expensive anymore, right? So now you're going to sell a lot more of the $17.99 bottles of wine than you will the $8.99 bottles of wine. So this comes in very handy, whatever you're trying to sell. If you're going to try to sell something, be sure to have something out there to change people's perspectives. The next item I wanted to talk about is, and you know, one good thing, red wine, it'll make your life much more salubrious. It has those stuff in it. So be sure to drink the red wine. The next item I wanted to talk about is, it's called a technique. It is motivational interrogation. And that sounds kind of boring, right? So there's this guy, his name is Dan Pink. He sells books on salesmanship techniques. He's got a bunch of videos out on YouTube. And so he changed the title of this because he's a salesman. And what he changed the title to was using Jedi mind tricks to convince your kids to clean their room. I thought this was great. You know, that's much more of an idea. You know, using Jedi mind tricks, how do I do this? And what he said to do is to ask two irrational questions to get people to do something that you want them to do. And this is a technique that is used by psychologists and therapists to convince their patronages to make a change in their lives. And so what he said is, let's say you have a 15-year-old son, we'll call him Jack, and he has a dirty, messy room. You want him to clean his room. And so the first question to ask is, Jack, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at as far as cleaning your room? Now, his room is really messy. It's been that way for a long time, so he's not going to give you a very high number. He's going to say, Dad, I'm a 3. Most parents would say, a 3? A 3? Why aren't you an 8? That's not the way to do it, though. He said, the irrational question to ask is, why did you pick a 3? Why didn't you pick a lower number? Now, Jack has to explain why he is where he is. And he'll say, well, you know, I'm almost going to be 16 years old now, and I'm going to be moving out soon. I can't expect Mom to always clean my room, and You know, if I have girls over, I don't want them to see what a slob I am. And so what that does is that really vets out his reasons for cleaning his room. And you, as an adult, might have 15 other reasons, but by asking them to justify their answer, they're really bringing out their intrinsic motivation for doing that action. And so that is a way to get people to do something that they might not normally want to do. I thought it was a very, very interesting way of convincing people. So I hope you take these 2 techniques that I've shown you, and I hope it makes you a better salesman and makes your life a little more salubrious.